Right, hello everyone, welcome to One for the Road, your podcast for music chat. I'm Lewis, and with me as always is my co-host Dom.
Hello, nice to be here today. We're excited to get this one done. This was certainly an album that I'm excited to do with you, Lewis.
Very good. Now, the album we're talking about is Foals, Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost, Part 1. Now, what were your initial impressions of this one, Dom? What did you think?
You know what, after kind of only getting eyes on the kind of more popular one, which one was that? That was On the Lunar. I think that was the kind of one you introduced me to, and then I heard more and more in kind of popular media. You know what? First impressions of the album, really good. You know, I quite enjoyed it. I think it's one of the ones that's definitely going to be growing on me. It wasn't like an instant hit in my mind, but as I've kind of listened to it more and more, I'm thinking, you know what? Actually, it's quite well put together. Yeah.
Yeah, it does sort of grow on you the more you listen to it. I think it were a bit of a departure for them, going into more sort of synth sounds, electronic, that kind of
I picked up on
direction that they went in.
Yeah, I really did pick up on that kind of synth stuff throughout.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting you say this is like a departure, because for me, this is going to be an introduction.
Yeah.
There's only one other album that I've listened to, again, not in kind of any, long way. I haven't kind of sat down and listened to any of these albums properly. I think the only other one is What Went Down.
Right. So pretty guitar led.
Yeah. So again, I think this is because I don't really have it strong in my mind as an album rather than just tracks. This is like my first impressions of this band.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. So it's a bit of a fun fact. It's actually named after the quit screen on Nintendo, where you get a message saying anything not saved will be lost.
Bloody hell, I remember that.
And it sort of inspired the album name.
No, brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I remember that quite vividly when I was growing up.
And there is a bit of world building to this as well. There's like a wider theme of sort of climate change, post-apocalyptic future, which we'll get into with some of the lyrics.
Bloody hell.
I know that was a big inspiration for when they were writing it.
Fair one.
So do you want to get straight in with Moonlight first track?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so first track up was Moonlight. I noticed straight off the bat, female vocal open. Great acoustic hook, kind of bringing you into this track. I really enjoyed it. It was it was kind of a big departure from anything I kind of listen to normally, but it's definitely something I would reach out and listen to. If I was feeling like, I'll put a radio station on today. If I hear it, I'd probably go down that rabbit hole. So it was quite nice that you've given the first track and the first album that we're doing here has really kind of brought me away from kind of my kind of stereoscopic. Yeah. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, going into new genres.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I
know the frontman, Yanis, has said that this is a bit of a sort of an introduction, set the atmosphere for the album. Again, like this is the one he wanted played up front to set the tone for the rest of it. Yeah. So he says it's almost like going through a bit of a time warp or something.
Okay.
To get you into
this
alternate place, this world of the album.
Yeah, I thought it kind of feels like an introduction due to kind of the echo he puts on his voice.
It's very simple, isn't it?
And he fades out with his vibratos, I've noticed. So, you've got that kind of ethereal kind of what I would consider a good introduction to a concept album.
Yeah. Definitely sets the tone well.
Yeah, and I've put here, tell me if I'm talking rubbish. Obviously, I've only had a few listens. Techno-like backing chords throughout.
Yeah, definitely get that.
And then,
it's that kind of a bit of retro 80s kind of electronic vibe that runs through a lot of these tracks.
Exactly, and I put here as well about 6 separate instruments playing all at once. It gets very busy. It gets very busy as a track as you go towards the end.
Yeah, a lot of elements, isn't there?
Yeah, it really kind of like when I was sat down and listened to it, I was like, because it's quite a imposing first track. It starts off with this kind of ethereal kind of echo, and then it goes straight into this heavy and hard keyboard type finish, and it was quite, but then once I kind of listened to it a few more times, as a whole, as an album whole, I kind of came to appreciate it, like you said, as an introduction.
Yeah, definitely. Even just the first lyrics that we hear on this, I walked out into the desert, I walked out of the past, and that sort of speaks of maybe going a different direction.
Yeah, it's like a start, isn't it?
Leaving behind what you've done before, trying something new, something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? You know, it's not an over. It's not got a lot of lyrics in it,
It's not lyrically heavy.
it's only
no.
2 minutes 40, so it's kind of a normal. It's probably a bit longer than most opens on kind of concept albums. Most opens tend to be 1 minute 30 region, in my experience, anyway. So this being 240, you've only got a few lyrics in there. Yeah, I quite liked it, and the one that really got me was, and you came to me on the black horse to remind all I've said and done. You know, it's very evocative of he's done something, he's fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know what, because with me, I've got no basis in this artist or these albums as a kind of discography. So for me, I'm looking at it thinking, you know, all I can take from that is he's fucked up.
Black horse, like death, you know. It's that kind of image, isn't it?
I more think of the kind of, you know, not the anecdote. I don't mean anecdote. The kind of simile, like a black horse. You know, the odd one out, the one who doesn't fit in with the crowd. You know, like a black horse.
Yeah, a bit of an outsider.
Or what we kind of refer to as a dark horse, more so.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of, anyway. Either that, or we've got it all wrong, and he actually means it's a horse that used to pull the coal.
They've used horses a lot, though, especially in some of their videos as well.
Have they actually?
And a few album covers, horses are just quite a prominent image.
I think, they're quite. They do normally kind of go along with these sort of albums, if you get my meaning. You know, albums that have something to say. Horses have been like a large part of the human psyche for such a long time. It's quite evocative of nature in itself, I think. So yeah, a good track, really good track. I quite liked it.
Nice relaxed opener.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then we sort of get straight in with Exits, the next track.
Yeah.
Which I really love the intro to this.
Yeah, I put at the
get
start.
A bit of piano and then it's just
heavy open,
cut off.
Yeah,
straight into it.
Great keyboard backing. Because it's keyboard, I don't think.
Yeah, this is really a retro sort of sound on this.
Yeah, and I've just put here very well produced. I don't know what you thought. Well, I put very well produced. Like I noticed it, how well produced it was.
I think this is my favourite track off the album, to be honest. Yeah.
Really?
Really like this one.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. No, yeah, you know, I think with it being my first couple of listens, I need to listen a few more times. But you know, I definitely liked it. Definitely liked it, and the lyrics, it follows this quite strict at the start 4 kind of line verse pattern, which I quite liked because it gave it a really good pacing. I don't know what you thought.
Yeah, it does sort of, doesn't it? Yeah, keeps it moving along well.
Yeah, it suits the story he's trying to sell.
Yeah, which again, it's like a bit of a post-apocalyptic sort of everyone's living underground
in a world upside down.
Flowers upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, isn't there? There's a lot of kind of talking about everything's the wrong way round. You know, sky coming down, cities underground, flowers upside down.
Yeah.
The places. What else we got? All the exits underground. You know, all the secrets that we keep. You know, it's very kind of. It gives you that idea of like Metro 2033 if you've ever read those books. You know,
it's interesting you say Metro actually, because they before they were about to release this one, there was a bit of like a scavenger hunt going around on Twitter and that, and a lot of the major sort of underground, you know, metro subway stations, they put envelopes with parts of the lyrics in across like New York, Tokyo, and London and that. And they were like fans trying to piece the song together.
That's brilliant.
Like before it came out, they just sort of teased it with this.
What a good way of doing it, though.
Like
you know?
Worldwide scavenger hunt. Yeah,
it's
pretty cool.
Good way of doing it. Well, according to these guys, it's where we're all going to be living.
Well, yeah. It does sort of feel like a warning about climate change.
Yeah, it kind of does.
It's one of his wider themes, yeah.
There's no birds left to fly, you know, now the sea eats the sky. It's very aggressive in its message. I put here, just to kind of move onto the song, I put a great verse structure, suits the song, great bass in the final moments, very interesting track. I've just put like a really... Rather than saying good, bad, negative, whatever, I said it's a very interesting track. How it's constructed, how he's brought it together, what it's talking about. You know.
Yeah.
You know,
it's quite unconventional, really.
I can't make my mind up about it. You know. I like listening to it, but I don't. So I haven't listened to him enough. I think with the artists that we've covered so far, I've listened to a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, you've got a bit of the
Do you know
history.
what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want to say too much because I'll be making a judgment on something that I really don't have even my own fully fulfilled idea about yet. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed it as a track though.
Cool. Ready to go on to the next one, yeah?
Yeah, White Onions.
For this one, I'll just put really, really strong, high energy beat, just straight away, right from the off.
Catchy open, drum roll in. That's what I put.
Yeah. Some good sort of grungy sounding guitar effects.
You know what? I've put here grunge-like guitar.
Really?
Yeah, exactly what I thought. You know, bang
Very
on
cool,
the money. Very bass heavy open with the grunge-like guitars. You know, and a really kind of good open. You can see that in the lyrics itself with the kind of breaks in the lyrics. So you know, whoa, 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 and how he sings it. You know, it suits that kind of style very well.
On the fast beat and like.
Yeah, and then I've put straight here. Second verse enters a soft electric guitar plucking. To the front of the tune, so they kind of drown out a lot of the heavier. Even though it's still there, I feel like they drown it out in kind of noise, and then they bring this electric kind of plucking to the front, which I thought was a really interesting style change, just in the middle, in the second verse alone.
Yeah, it sort of gives it some good variety, really.
Yeah, and the way this is structured as well, you know, you got a clear first verse, second verse, third verse, fourth verse. Yeah, chorus wise. It doesn't really count as a chorus because, like, there is no. They're not. Even though the kind of track is the same, the lyrics are different. So when you look at the kind of first, third, and fourth verses, very similar with subtle changes. But the second verse, completely different.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know why, but I'm just racking my head as to why that was done as a choice.
I don't know. It follows the same pattern, but it's. Yeah, so it goes from talking about a lair, fight for air, but then seeing a maze, breaking a cage.
Yeah.
Still, I get the impression it's like a bit of an escape, or running away from something.
Yeah.
Almost a
lair gives
bit of an uprising as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I'll wait for the wave to come and wash away, keep me out of this place.
Yeah.
You know, it's very terrifying lyrics, really, when you read them back. Quite scary.
Yeah, perhaps, you know, stuck on the ground, maybe something.
Yeah, in a maze. You know, he's either in his mind or he's on about. You know, as you said, you've alluded to
physical.
Yeah, you've alluded to kind of the climate change argument, which again is supporting this kind of living underground, burying your head type mentality.
Cool.
Yeah, there wasn't really much to go on that one, was there? I mean, it's not a very long track if I remember rightly. 3 minutes 6. You know, exits
nice
at
little sort of punchy. Yeah.
So next up we've got In Degrees. What did you think of this, Lewis?
This is so much like a bit of a dance track.
Yeah,
almost, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Really punchy beat as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I put here feels more like Clubland.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
it's definitely bordering on that.
Yeah, exactly. Just because of the pacing, you know, and the bass.
He has said in interviews that he wrote it about sort of communications in modern age. You sort of lose that personal connection, that physical connection.
Yeah.
But then you do get like he said on he wants it to sort of bring people together on a dance floor, or bring that connection back.
I can see that working. Repetitive lyrics, good bass structure, well constructed. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, so you got that sort of juxtaposition of what the lyrics are about and what it's trying to do with the song.
Yeah, I think
which is pretty good.
You can tell that. You can tell. I just put here, whoever this is, I don't know yet again, because I don't really know the band, if it's a band effort for writing songs or if it's an individual effort, but so good at constructing melodies. So good. Like, when you kind of really listen into kind of how he's creating these individual melodies throughout the track, he's very good at doing it and keeping to a theme. I was really impressed.
It is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, and then,
I think from little bits in interviews, it's mainly the front man who writes the lyrics, but he has done a few sort of tracks and melodies himself and brought that to the table. But they pretty much record everything else with the band in there as well, like a joint creative.
Yeah, I mean, my question to you is, I mean, what's the band structure? Are we talking 4-piece or?
Yeah, it's like your typical 4-piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know? Yeah. I
But
think.
using a lot more instruments, obviously, than just your
Yeah.
drums and guitars. Yeah.
I feel like they're bringing a lot more to the table than just that. But I feel
Hmm.
as the core elements, you can really tell. It is one of these more classic four-piece bands that bring in artists from outside.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed. I put here the tonal shift to words at the end with a crescendo. When you look at the no point wasting time I could not preserve repeats over and 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 over again. You get that's quite a bulk of the song as it is this last two verses.
Yeah. That line in particular maybe gave me the impression it might be about a relationship breakdown almost, or self-doubts
he
maybe
couldn't
on
hold
stuff.
on to it. Yeah. He was trying to hold on to the relationship, went wrong.
But it's
Am
really
I wasting
hammered
my
down
time?
to it with it.
Yeah, it really is. It really put me on the back foot, as it were. Kind of building that to crescendo. I think, though, to be honest, I like for me especially with what we just spoke about at the start of the podcast, which was the kind of environmental type side of it. Am I wasting my time? I could not preserve. Which I feel like it's more I'm saying, well, I'm talking to a brick wall here. Because we all know it's going to shit. So, well, what the fuck? I suppose the little people can do little parts about it, and there are companies out there now doing more parts, but when you think on a kind of more governmental stage, we are wasting our time shouting at a brick wall. A load of old fucks in power shouting nothingness at each other about who's more.
That'd probably a sentiment along a lot of protesters, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you know what? And I think that's why I can
Could see
identify kind of with it. He shifts from am I wasting my time to no point wasting my time. So he knows he is.
Mm-hmm.
Good tune. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Got a lot behind it. So then that leads us into syrups.
Yeah.
Where we get a bit of a pace change here, don't we?
Yeah. Now, my question to you is, what's Sargasso?
I believe it's a type of grass.
Is
I
it?
think. Like a golden, kind of yellowy green sort of grass. Yeah.
Sargasso sky.
I thought. In fact, through the magic of Google,
I know. I'm going to.
maybe we could look it up.
I put old Saragossa. Oh, here we go.
Oh, another term for Sargassum.
The Sargasso Sea is a region of the Atlantic Ocean bounded by four currents forming an ocean gyre. Unlike other regions called seas, it has no land boundaries. It is distinguished from other parts of the Atlantic Ocean. Calm blue waters.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's
Also Sargasso weed. What's that?
Very interesting. Yeah, I kind
Maybe
of
it's
saw
a
it.
geographic thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of saw it, and I was looking at it thinking, what the hell's that? And I didn't look it up because I was going to come and research on here because I think it's a good piece to cover. I think it's after looking just now quickly at a couple of different things. I think it's more evocative of calm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's.
Yeah, it makes sense as well.
I feel
blue sea, blue sky.
Wrap me up in my goodbyes, old Sargasso sky, because I'm about to take flight. Please don't ask me something. That's how I get a feeling from anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Especially throughout the whole. It's another piece of kind of large scale nature that we could be losing. So I feel maybe that is where he's gone with that. Just that immediately when I heard it, I was like, well, okay. Immediately, it was quite a strong word. It's not. I was like, oh well, what's that? Now I know.
Yeah. Piques your interest.
Yeah, exactly. Pop another bassy open.
Yeah. It's also like a slower plodding on kind of drum and bass.
Yeah.
To the opening, yeah. Cool. A good build up for the second half though, where it does pick up a bit after that.
Yeah. No, absolutely, yeah. I've put what did I put here about that? I put especially with that. So when you're looking through the lyrics and stuff, and I was kind of listening to the tune going throughout, I agree, it takes that I put here, feels like this song took a while to come together.
Yeah.
Lots of intricate parts. Don't know if you got the
There was a
same
point
feeling.
in the interview that I was watching as well where the pretty much the frontman Yanis presented him the first part of the song, the first half of it at least, like a finished product.
Okay.
And then the rest of the band, I think the drummer was on about this in the interview, and they sort of built up, they re-recorded it and built up the last part of it together.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right, so that makes more sense.
The
So
first half of it was its own little finished
piece.
piece. Yeah.
I'm happy with myself for that. Then, it took a while to come together.
In fact, yeah, here we go. I've got it. I got it saved. So it was. He's said here. This is a direct quote. It was essentially like the first half of this was a quite pristine computer-recorded version, and the second half is basically the band after a few drinks, trundling into the practice room and sort of assaulting it.
You know what? Yeah, I
So
love
what an
that.
interesting, yeah.
I love that. I
So
put
the rest of
here
the band turns up drunk
alarm
and finishes it
like
off.
yeah, exactly. I put alarm like keyboard to fade. It gives it that kind of sense of urgency and that kind of sense of lastminute.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nice little story behind
what a good story
it.
as well.
Yeah.
I put here he's a good singer. He's got the ability in him. I mean, just alone with his kind of vibrato and harmonies, you know, he's really got a skill here. He really does. I was
Have you
very
ever seen
impressed.
them any of their live videos?
No. You know, it's like I said, it's not a band
'Cause
that
he's-
I've ever really
Right.
jumped into. Are
He's
they
got
good
such
live?
that almost raw quality in his voice as well. Like the vocals really come through.
I think he's like a different genre of. It's going to sound really, and I don't mean to make this comparison lightly, but it's more kind of like, you know, we said grunge earlier. I feel like it's a tonally higher version of Kurt Cobain.
Oh really?
Yeah, I really do. Like in how he ends his.
I've never put that together.
How he ends his lines and how he cuts those lyrics off, and when he does hold a lyric, how he has the vibrato to hold it, and you know, like that's those sort of elements. When I was listening to it, and I got, like you said earlier, when we both nailed on that kind of grunge element, I do feel like he's a different era of Kurt, and I don't mean to make that comparison lightly.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously, like, well, you know, with Kurt's quite
Of course,
like, an
legendary.
icon. You know, he's quite an icon within the industry, so I don't mean to make these kind of assumptions lightly, but I just get that kind of feeling on the inside, you know.
Yeah, now you've said it, I'd never put that together before, but I can see the similarities.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a good track to show it off as well.
There was one line that I wrote down because I really like it. Again, it's a strong imagery of world building, and I almost got the impression it was like the future in Terminator.
Yeah.
So robots have made the rounds, sand dunes filled up all our towns.
Yeah.
So is that like AI taking over?
Yeah, no. And then it carries. Yeah, no, I like
A little
that.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Just a cool line that I.
The
really
robots make all the
Yeah.
paper rounds, and all the kids have left the towns. Foxes howl and.
Or are they
poachers
just looking for
bound.
survivors?
Yeah. No,
don't
brilliant. Good track. Good track. You know. This is coming up next. We've got number 7, which is On the Lunar.
Yeah.
Right,
Another high
Lewis.
energy one.
Yeah, I'll let you take this one off.
Yeah, very catchy beat, I think.
What's a latchkey kid?
That's a good question. What is a latchkey
To the
kid?
Google.
Something to do with a lock?
Latchkey kid, yeah.
Oh, here we go. A latchkey kid is a child who returns from school to an empty home. Or a child who's left at home with little parental supervision because the parents are away at work.
So essentially,
Well, that took a bit of a downer, didn't it?
Yeah, left on the latch.
Well, that makes sense with the next line, though. Free from guilt, born baby boomer.
Yeah.
So they don't feel guilty about leaving the kid at home.
Wow, you know,
Well, that's, it's got some more meaning then.
the key is often strung around the child's neck or left hidden under a mat or some other object at the rear door to a property. I mean, I was just given a key, you know, because...
Yeah. At what age?
I think, oh God, when was I given a key to the house? Probably like, we're talking like probably 12, 13, I think.
Oh, yeah. That makes
It's hard to
makes
remember.
sense, yeah.
But this is the term refers to children as young as 5 years old who provide self-care to other children who supervise their young siblings. So it's that, again, like, I know of the type of this, you know, throughout my school life, and I feel like in American media it's a bit more prevalent because, you know, in most of our media we don't have that sort of shit. But really interesting that they say that, you know, and now we're looking at the kind of song from that aspect. I think, you know, when I was a latch key on the Lunar. So why is Lunar capitalised? Does that mean a place or a person, right?
Yeah. Or is it to do with the moon?
I mean, I feel like it is because it's a very spacey track. But now I've looked into it.
And in a different language, it is.
I was
Spanish
keeping
or
it
something,
cool
maybe, I don't know.
with cryo, capital C again. Lido, capital
Like
L.
cryotherapy, isn't it?
Yeah, but these are capitalised for a reason, mate. They aren't proper nouns. Which means these are proper nouns, which means they're either place names or they're people's names. Or Google doesn't know how to properly capitalise. However, I don't think so. No, I'm sorry. I probably would like to dive into this a bit more. So yeah, Kung Fu is a martial art, so it's a proper noun, so it gets capitalised. And then the Luna. I was mooning at the Bella Luna. What's a Bella Luna? God, there's so much to dive.
It's Italian, isn't it? So is that
I don't know,
the lady moon? Something like that?
Oh, right, yeah.
Perhaps.
Ah.
Oh, Bella. Bella means beautiful.
Beautiful moon.
Beautiful moon in Italian. Yeah.
So
maybe
I thought maybe it was a person.
Pining or howling to the moon. Could represent person. We don't know.
You know. Trump clogging up my computer. Ugh.
I did like that. Made me laugh. That.
I think like
always escapades and that's taken away from the real issues, the real stories.
This is where we divide. This is where we divide on issues. I mean, you know, I'm not going to jump into it on this because.
Are you going to get into politics here?
We could do, but I don't think it's the right
That's
place.
That's not a podcast, is it?
No, I look at this and I was when I was listening to this. I'll be honest. This is my least favourite song and a song that I don't really want to listen to again.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't like this song.
Huh.
I really love the open.
What is it about it?
The you know, I've put here brilliant open with an amazing dropped note. Amazing. Like absolutely love that. Love how it's done. Love how quick it is paced. It really takes you off guard. You know, love it. And then after that, I'm not a fan of the chorus. You know?
Right.
I'm not like I don't when it's saying Trump clogging up my computer, you know, I kind of get annoyed because we listen to the kind of previous tracks where it's got a clear kind of cut, it's a great message. It's a great message about the kind of climate and where they're living and what the world's coming to. And then he takes someone as insignificant as Trump, US president or not, you know, when you actually think about achievements wise and what the country's done in the time, it's an insignificant presidency full of absolute nothingness that is not even worth mentioning because it's been a wasted 4 years. Yet he deems it irrelevant to put in here, but I don't feel like it fits into the grand scheme of the album. I really don't.
Really?
I don't, and maybe I don't feel like it fits in with the album.
To me, I think it is still part of the wider message, isn't it? When we go on this the whole climate change thing, I know Trump's been quite vocal about it. You know, denied it a few times. As he's got all sorts of quotes about it, hasn't he?
I think but he's bringing like this
bring into it a bit more.
But he's
you know
he's dividing from the problem. He's diverging from the problem rather. You know, which is the fact that, you know, previous to this he's talked about like our generation of kind of, you know, I feel like he's saying, oh, you know, we're the ones who are trying to get something done. The baby boomer generation above us are the ones who haven't caused the issues, but they're kind of carrying them on. And their parents, they're ones from like, you know, the 40s, they're the ones who created the issues, who own the businesses, you know. So when I kind of see this when it comes to like, I think like you're really diluting your message. I feel like it's diluting his message because like the stuff Trump said about climate change, everyone knows he's a fucking nutter. You know, like no one's.
Would you have thought that he's not worth mentioning at all? Then is that?
Yeah. I don't know why he's. I don't know.
It does sort of date the song to this kind of period in time as well, doesn't it? Yeah.
I feel like it
like,
is.
Well, another 5 years, will that still be relevant?
No, because, you know, in another 5 years, God forbid he gets through again, and God forbid anybody in that country runs that country, because they're all a bunch of nutters, money-hungry, absolutely capitalist nutbags. But like, this is going to date it. It's not.
Yes,
I don't think it's very. I feel like it's purposely structured in a way that annoys me. Because he's trying to replicate that kind of fake news, you know, pummel you in the face with news on your phone. He's trying to recreate that. I hate that on my actual phone. Never mind in a song. You know, so don't get me wrong.
So is that a bit of a media commentary?
You know, if we were talking to you, if we sat like the lead singer down, if we sat down the writer and we said, right, okay, talk about the song. I think congratulations, your song has made an excellent point, which is actually having an effect on me in quite a way. But as a result of that, as a result of your successful messaging across, I now hate the song. Like, I'm not ripping into it. It's still musically a great song. Got a great open with a drop note, amazing backing keyboard track. I'm not a fan of the chorus, and I'll have this on in the car, yeah. I'll listen to the intro, and as soon as we get past the first verse into agitator, extricator, I turn it over. Like, I even time it for the last all day of the first verse. I know it sounds bad, but I did not enjoy this one. You know, what about you?
Good take on it though. Well, I still like the song.
Go on, you talk to me, because I think it's for people out there. You know, I think maybe if you're listening to this, you're going to be more of a fan of it. So I want to hear your take on the whole thing, Lewis.
Yeah, it's just a catchy song that I like, to be honest. Yeah, I think it still fits in with the album quite well. Maybe see what you mean with the chorus. It can be a bit repetitive, can't it?
Yeah,
right
but I would say that.
But then, you know, it's not like a long. It doesn't drone on. It's not a long song that keeps you there. I just think it's a decent track. Yeah,
it comes at 3:13, so you're right. It's not an overly long track. You know, yeah. You know, it's just too political for my tasting. Too political to my tasting. Look at this.
If we go to a point, you know, after you've skipped, there is a sort of later on. It sort of has a bit of a breakdown at the bridge. The bit where he's on like, we had it all, didn't stop to think about it. There's a really good sort of guitar build up then, back up to the pace of the rest of the song. That breakdown sort of saves it for me. I really like that part.
Yeah, there's no reason why this track isn't a great track. You know, I'm not saying that in the slightest. I think I get put off too early. I get put off too early, and then I'm not invested. And that's why I don't carry it through. I mean, there are some good lines, but I think if I just read this one bit to you, this is why we agree it's going to date it so badly. You know, chunk clogging up my computer, but I'm watching all day. They say that heaven is other people, but the other side's defo evil. Please don't let there be a sequel.
Yeah.
So he knows it's a rat race.
Political statement, yeah.
I know. The thing is, I know he's not like saying it for any other reason. He says, well, look at this insanity that we have before us. But I'll be honest, after the couple of years we've had on this planet, I don't really want to be reminded. You know what I mean? There's a reason I don't watch the news. There's a reason I have no notifications. There's a reason I don't use Facebook. There are these reasons behind it. I guess it's just bad memories, brah.
Is it a bit like watching a sad film?
Yeah, you know.
Something's really good, but you wouldn't watch it again.
No, definitely not.
Because it's harrowing.
Exactly.
It's a Schindler's List situation, isn't it?
Oh, you know what? Never watched it.
Absolutely amazing film, but it's really harrowing. And
I need to watch it. I need to watch it. You know. Right, we're going to move on though, because else we'll be going on about this single track all day. Kind of interesting. We move on to number 8, which is Café d'Athens. I'm assuming it's said like that. Interesting change in pace instrument.
Yeah,
because drums
this
fade
whole
out.
track feels more about the instrumentals rather than the words.
Yeah,
to me,
exactly. Yeah. You know, as lyrically, it's not too complicated. You know, lyrically, it's probably got less than the previous track, but it's nearly a minute longer.
Yeah, bit of xylophone as well.
Oh, you picked up on it. I was sat there listening, thinking, is it a xylophone? Is it a xylophone? And I was listening because it's not as metallic as most xylophones are. It feels very woodworky, if you know what I mean. Like, I was listening thinking, is this wood instrument or is this a metal xylophone? It's obviously like it's either been toned down on the metal side or they are using kind of more traditional, you know, wooden xylophone. I'd be interested to see which one they do. But yeah, xylophone.
Definitely more experimentation going on here, isn't there?
And I've put the third note I've made, love it, 2 exclamation points.
Oh yeah?
I love this track.
It's cool, isn't it? It's a pretty cool, relaxed vibe. Sort of marks the slowdown for the last part of the album, for me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of their albums are constructed like this as well, and you see it in part 2 and some of their earlier ones as well. You have these really high energy openings to build you up the first 2 tracks, like bam, 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 straight away. You get up there, and then they sort of bring you down slowly for the last half of it.
Yeah.
And you can sort of get back and chill with these.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's a great mix of a style. The synth comes in very Impala.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Very wailing song, very moaning and quite drawn out.
It sings really soft in this.
Yeah, it's a deep male voice backing. Now, do we know what that's about? There's quite as you go through, there's a really deep male voice. He only has like 2 lines. I'm trying to find it now.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I know he was experimenting with different sort of percussionists with these new instruments. Yeah. That marimba, xylophone, vibraphone, whatever that is.
What was it? Was it a what? Sorry.
A
vibraphone. What's a vibraphone? How do you spell that?
I don't know what that is. Vibra, V-I-B-R-A, and then phone.
Here we go, vibraphone. Let's have a look.
That'd be a relative of a xylophone, maybe.
Oh,
it's like electronic.
A vibraphone is a musical instrument that is a stuck idiophone, subfamily of the percussion family. It consists of tuned metal bars and is usually played by holding 2 or 4 soft mallets. That's the softened sound.
Yeah.
Right, boom, and then striking the bars. The person who plays the vibraphone is called a vibraphonist, or a vibrist, for short. Okay, so that's kind of where I kind of draw that, because I knew he was a xylophone, but it didn't sound as harsh as an actual xylophone. So it's interesting that actually it's a vibraphone, maybe, or he's using those kind of softened, sticks, or striking what they call mallets. There you go. Using the soft mallets. Really interesting, actually. I'm glad I picked up on that, because it shows that I've got the ability to actually listen out for these things, rather than just talking shit all the time.
That's what this podcast is founded on.
Not talking shit. Or talking shit.
Top comment,
which one? Stop talking shit. Okay, so such a different ending. Distorted guitar to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And then good all-round track. I really enjoyed it. Anything on your side?
Very nice little track. Yep. Again, it's one that I'd put on to relax.
Yeah.
It's on my chilled out playlist. It's just a cool little track. Nice instruments coming to the fore, and they really shine in that, I would say.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No. Mm-hmm. Right then. The next one up, number 9, Surf Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
Instrumental.
Now this one. So I'll tell you, on Part 2 of this double album, there is a track called Surf. Into the Surf. So this sort of leads into that. It's like a bit of a teaser almost.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's said in interviews he wants to sprinkle in this, because obviously Part 1 came out in like the March, and then we'll have to wait another 6 months or whatever for Part 2.
Hey, that's a short time though for 2 albums to come out back to back like that.
Yeah. Well, they did make them all at one time.
It's obviously like they made all these tracks and went, right, well, it's too much to put on a single play.
Yeah. Make a double release.
Yeah, you have to do a double release. That'll be if they have got like kind of publishers, that would have been specified by them. I mean, let's face it. I'm sure they would have quite happily released this as a full double side, big album.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's interesting that Part 2 though, when Part 2 came out, that got them the Brit Award for Best British Group.
Did it?
They won
Part
that,
2.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Probably want to talk about another time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm sure we'll move into it at some point.
But yeah, I mean, this Surf Part 1, nice little instrumental intermission.
Oh, it's weird.
Leads well into the next track.
It's weird. That's all I'm saying. It's weird. The ending, man. The ending sounds like something out of Stranger Things or some kind of horror flick.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange vibe.
Yeah, I liked it. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. I just, I just found it quite odd. But I mean, I'm not surprised now by looking through the album if we have. I'm not surprised.
It's part of the joy of listening to an album as a whole, and in the order that it was intended as well.
Exactly, yeah.
You just get little bits like this that build it, yeah.
I think it moves really well into track number 10, which is Sunday. And I just want to point out right now that I loved this tune within a single second of it playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely love this within a single second.
Thought this might be up your street.
Oh, it's such a good open. I'm just listening it back now. Such a good open. You got a gentle kind of what feels like strings almost. It's not, but it feels like strings coming in. And then as you get through the kind of first second, you hit into these drums, these soft drums with a soft hi-hat, and then you've got guitar and synth all at once. I mean, that's hitting you with 5 different instruments. And then there's distortion in the background, bringing in a 6th element, and it sounds so relaxing. It's immediately... And Sunday. You know, says it all. You know, I'll wait for you to do your thoughts on this, and then I will go in on this, because I love this track. So after you.
Yeah, it is lovely, and it's a lovely track. I've put it feels like an acceptance of the state that the world's in, or the end of the world, perhaps.
You can only do so much to push
and it's
against
just that relaxation that comes with accepting the situation. Just quite at peace.
I think that's what I got kind of a big, exactly as you say. I think quite a big. What do I mean? Quite a big thing to show that feeling, and I think this is my favourite lyric from the entire album, which is "We got youth to spend."
Yeah.
You know, cities burn, we got youth to spend. I love that idea. We have youth to spend.
Yeah.
You know, it's
probably
really
the most valuable currency.
Yeah, it really is, because like time is finite. You know, without getting too depressing on it, I think it's quite true. So, this track is so much slower, and it keeps saying "cities burn" all the way through. We don't give a damn. It's
that message again.
Yeah, I mean, how fast can you make a change? Change comes over hundreds of years. You know, as we've got closer and closer to the current date, change has sped up. You know, we've got faster and faster of adapting to change, but we have to sometimes realise that in this really high-speed world that we live in, you know, everything we get is on a click. Actual change takes years. It takes more years than I think I've got on this planet. You know, it's an interesting one.
What did you think about the part where it just really picks up?
Yeah,
it came as a bit of a shock to me.
Great mid crescendo. Increased pace,
strong beat.
Guitar bursts.
Almost seems out of place, but
it does. But then it so suits it.
Yeah, listening to it, I almost thought it's like going into a bit of a trance when you're getting that bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I got a little bit of that. You know, I think it's maybe his frustration coming back through, so his acceptance, but then his underlying frustration with the thing coming through in the middle.
Yeah,
and then I'm pretty sure it does kind of fade out again, doesn't it? Yeah, it fades out right at the end. You know, drowns out the track, you know, like the coming waves. Yeah. I think maybe I agree. It kind of comes out of nowhere, but when you look in the context of the album, it suits.
Yeah, it still fits. It still fits for me. Yeah.
Subwoofer bass. That's what I got. And also, brilliant ending. What an amazing end to a track.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I really love this song. I really absolutely loved it, you know. Increased pace, great middle crescendo, electric guitar backing throughout the whole thing. We got youth to spend, acoustic guitar at the start, love it within the second. Subwoofer bass, the bass is amazing. The end is such a brilliant. The crescendo in the middle gives you a middle. It feels like a story, a start, middle, and an end. You know, a journey almost. Brilliant track. Is now in my playlists, will be coming up again.
Oh, yeah? Oh, brilliant.
My favourite track.
Yeah, definitely well crafted, and it earns that 5-minute odd run time, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
It's worth spending that amount of time on.
No, exactly. You know, it's one of these tracks that I instantly fell in love with, and I will have on for years to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so.
Brilliant.
What we got next?
Okay, so final track now. I called "I'm Done with the World," and it's done with me.
Yeah, good track.
Yeah. I thought the piano in this I found really haunting, quite melancholy. Almost.
Yeah,
It's quite a sad ending for the whole thing.
You know what I've put though, and I think it suits. I think it suits the album. It suits the track. It suits the theme, and it suits the cover art.
Yeah,
it's very autumnal. You know, you get that sense of things kind of withering, dying, and fading away. Yeah. You know, time falls into the garden.
Even like leaves on fire as well.
Yeah.
Like oranges, yellows.
I mean, look at the cover art.
Colours.
Look at the cover art.
That is an infrared photo, actually.
Yeah.
It's I think it's like a Mexican or Brazilian, some South American photographer who photographs these buildings with foliage in like infrared. So the leaves and everything really stands out, and the grey buildings just sort of,
But
fade
it's not
into the
without the
background.
kind of colours. It's not without its kind of colour, and
Yeah.
I think that
That's what
kind
the
of me.
infrared does. It just messes with the colours.
I mean, that red to me
seen.
gives off autumn vibes. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it does. It's either in my head immediately. I'm thinking autumnal or Japanese peace lily garden.
Yeah, the what's they called? The blossoms
Yeah,
on the trees.
you know exactly what I mean.
Very
don't you, when I say
reminiscent
it?
of that.
I think this track is a perfect. It covers all of it. My daughter's asleep in the garden. The leaves are on fire in the country lanes. All I want to do is get out of the rain. He's on about passing the torch, maybe. Forwards. Because he said that he was a boomer, if I got that right. I don't know if he is one, but in the kind of song that we covered earlier, he mentions, doesn't he, that, born a boomer.
Yeah.
And maybe his daughter's our
guilt-free,
generation.
Yeah. I took that to mean about the parents, maybe.
Yeah. How old is the lead singer?
Because they are the whole band. I think they're just like late 20s, early 30s.
They would make sense then. So they're kind of just above us, but it's. Oh, yep. I've typed in Foals on Wikipedia. It comes up with a horse.
Of course it does. Going back to those lyrics, I think it's almost like wanting to go back to an old world or how the world was.
Yeah.
Like all he wants to do is get out in the rain on an autumn day. That tells me that it's not available to him now at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Not able to do that.
No.
So he's done with the world, and that's it. And the world's done with me. I can't have that anymore.
He's kind of receding into it, isn't he, as it were?
Yeah. Again, maybe it's that acceptance of the state that things are in, not being able to go back.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I like this track. I really do. I think it's so. Just to cover off what I've put about it: piano open, small echo on the voice throughout, kind of gives it that ethereal kind of feel. Quiet synthesizers throughout. I thought autumn, on autumn day. We're currently going through autumn now, so I thought, oh, how apt. Short but sweet. It's a very sweet song. It's very soft, very plays with the senses, dreamlike.
Yeah. I get that.
After looking at the lyrics on this, I just kind of feel, I think it kind of covers off the world that we live in. Stuff's kind of dying, withering, but there is, as with all kind of autumn days, there is always some hope that rebirth will come around. This is the way of the world. This is how things work. We go through periods of turmoil and trouble, and then you hope that there
part
are
of that cycle.
Years. Yeah, it's a classic cycle that we've been going through for hundreds of years, but because of information transference now, it's on a world stage, not a country or a national stage. Yeah. Anything else on this track?
No, that's about it for me. Really, it's just a quieter one to end on, I would say.
Yeah, I think in summary,
it's nice.
I think in summary, this album is a good album. It's an album that, apart from one song, I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I think I definitely have this on my playlist, and I think it'll be in there for when I'm kind of, like I said, Sunday relaxing.
Yeah.
It's that kind of song, that kind of album, as it were. Favourite track is Sunday. I will be listening to it again in full, Yeah. That Sunday track I am absolutely in love with. It's one of those ones that I will listen to way too much, and I will ruin it for myself.
Yeah.
But then eventually I will get back round to listening to it. I think
it's a beautiful track. Yeah.
I fell in love with that one in particular. Thank you for introducing me to the album, because I think because again, like, the only basis for the album is the one that you showed me, who happens to be the one I hate the most.
Yeah. Interested in it.
So it just show that, whilst we have different kind of tastes in music, we kind of have similar in other ways, which is a good thing. Keeps us on our toes. It means we have actual conversations about it. I mean, what as an album then? What do you feel like? What's your feelings on the album as a whole?
I really like it. Yeah, definitely one of my favourites, and it got me. It was this one that got me more into Foals, and I decided to revisit a lot of their oldest albums. Because before I'd only know the key standout singles, as it were.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was when this came out, and then the follow-up Part 2 album as well, that really cemented them as one of my favourite bands.
I mean, I'm gonna have to. I'm probably
I
gonna
actually
go
like
away.
Part 2 more as well.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go away today and listen to Part 2.
So, yeah, I'm sure that'll come up in the future.
I mean, yeah, I think it's one of these bands that we're probably going to cover in more detail, kind of like, again, as a kind of discography format, because I feel like they've got a lot to say.
They've got a lot to go, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed their kind of... Is it the previous album? I'm not very well versed
What Went
in
Down?
Foals. Yeah, so What Went Down, I think that was the one...
Fantastic as well.
I think this is the one where a few of them were actually in the... kind of in the public eye, more so.
Yeah.
I think A Knife in the Ocean is one of the ones. It's here on my likes. I've got Birch Tree and A Knife in the Ocean.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
Snake Oil off that album was used in Peaky Blinders as well.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? You did tell me, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, I think I really want to kind of listen to these in the row. So, a nice 3-piece album listen through with one key song missing. But I really don't like that song. I can't tell.
I can't believe how strongly it's got you.
I just do not like it. I think probably, you know me, I probably am exaggerating the fact, as I normally do. I'm quite an emotive person, so I think when I'm listening to it, what I'll do is quietly now, I think I'll just pop it on, just while we're on the background now, so I can hear it in my ears.
Yeah.
Just kind of listening.
And then just Hulk smash your desk.
Yeah, not quite. Why just make me out like a monster? Listen to this open, brilliant open, drop note, love it. The drums come in, brilliant, right? And then you move into
and it
the actual
sort of continues
song.
though.
Boom, When I. Oh, great tune. And they have to go and ruin it. Obviously, it's creative license, of course. It's a very well created track. They've still done a lot, I think.
That's right.
I don't
9 out of 10 ain't bad.
Yeah, I don't have criticism of it. Like, this is the kind of difference of drawers. I criticise it in no way. I only personally criticise it. So
yeah, it's your own
exactly.
Your
opinion, my own opinion. And music is so like that. I think if I had them sat in front of me and I said this, I think they'd be like, "Oh, okay, fine." But you can appreciate the effort and the, yeah, good album.
It'd be an interesting debate, actually. Anyone listening, I encourage you to just put a comment. Did you like On the Luna or not?
Is Dom chatting
let's
shit?
Let's see what the people think.
The people. Oh, bloody hell. No, I would be interested to see in the comments people's take on the album. If anyone's with me, we'll make a little group. We'll start hedging against On the Luna. We'll start making it out to be banned from all stores. A full creative ban on that track. No, I would be interested to see people's thoughts on it. I would be interested to see people's thoughts on my Kurt Cobain comparison.
Yeah.
Because he is of that era.
I've never thought of that until this.
I've just had a quick look now. He was born 1986, so he's age 34.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's not young. He's not old either. He's still not the boomer generation. Just he is. I'm pretty sure 1986 is when the millennial generation started.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Because it's everyone who grew up through the change of the millennial, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
we probably will have had that Nirvana influence through the 90s,
yeah.
2000s.
With 1981 to 1996, a widely accepted defining range for the generation. Most millennials are the children of baby boomers and early Gen Xers. Yeah. Yeah, Generation Alpha being the one after that. I would be interested to see, millennials / Generation Y, Zoomers or Generation Z is 97 to 2012. Generation Alpha is people born in the 2010s. That's mad. Yeah. How are there people allowed to be born then? Yeah.
We're getting old, pal.
Mate, I fucking worked with someone who was born in the year 2000, and that mentally in my head, I'm just kind of like, what? Like I get it. Like, I was only 4, so it wasn't like I was old or they're so much younger than me.
Yeah.
But that kind of mental cue of seeing someone born in a different century to you, in
strange
a different
thought,
millennia to you.
Yeah.
That's a strange thought, Really like the album, we'll be listening to him again. I'll be excited to see where it goes.
Definitely, it's one in my collection, and I will enjoy it in years to come.
I think I'm happy to see it on vinyl. I want to listen to it a few more tracks. I think the only reason why I wouldn't buy it on vinyl at the moment, after only a few listens, is normally I can make my mind up pretty fast. Is that one track? I think if I listen to it a bit more, I might invest in just kind of getting through it and just buying the vinyl, you know.
Well, I've got parts 1 and 2, so I'll next time we're together, I'll play
bring them down, mate. Yeah, we'll have a good session on. That'll be good.
Can do a back to back.
No, absolutely, yeah. And when the track comes around, a Hulk smacks the desk that it's on. Skip the record entirely.
You've broke me disc.
Yeah. Right. So cool. So that's been our kind of thoughts on everything not saved will be lost part 1. Probably will cover part 2 in the future, but maybe not in the same format as this. As I want to go away and listen to it today, as opposed to waiting. I think I really enjoyed the track. I'll be interested to see what kind of in the future they're going to bring out. You know, if they're going to continue this narrative of environmental change and politics. You know, I hope they do, but more subtly than some of the tracks that we've listened to today. Well, I hope you've enjoyed kind of listening to the track. So now we're going to move on into me giving Lewis our next track next album we're going to listen to. This album came out in 2016. You know, I was away from home. I was out in the US with work, and it's an album that I absolutely adore. I think critically it was acclaimed. Tonally, it's so good. It's so well thought through, and it's more of anything else. It is fun. It is a fun album with twists and turns, but nonetheless, it's fun. And when you look into the lyrics and you look into where these lyrics are coming from, we're going to have a lot to talk about next week. So, without further ado, it is the Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Getaway.
Oh, brilliant! Yes.
Now, I
do like this one.
Absolutely love this album. I really do. It's one that, I mean, what makes it for me, off the top of my head, is the lead singer. He's amazing. Flea on bass is amazing. The drums, I mean, every piece of this band is amazing. So, you know, I'm really excited to get kind of deep into this track. So yeah, that's what we're going to be covering next week. Is the Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Getaway 2016 song. 13 songs with 53 minutes of playtime. So it's not a short album by any means. If you've got any more suggestions for what you want us to listen to, or if you want us to cover in detail, or any other kind of parts you would like to see in the podcast, for example, discographies, which we've talked about doing in the future, you know, covering them on the whole. If you've got any ideas about how we can take the podcast, we'd be happy to listen to you.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.